Wow, you'll never believe this. Breaking news. Bob Arum of Top Rank says he's willing to put Tyson Fury in there with Deontay Wilder next, not do the Luis Ortiz or the interim fight with Tyson Fury and somebody else straight away. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Link in the description. Helen Yee Sports has an exclusive interview with Bob Arum, who is the U.S. promoter for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury just fought last week against Tom Schwartz. Now, Bob Arum says some really interesting things. I haven't even watched the whole interview. I'm jumping on here and giving you guys this piece of news, but I watched enough to talk about this. He basically said that he's willing to do a Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder straight away. He said straight right now, this year, at the end of the year. And he kind of brought it into perspective and broke it down, like meaning Wilder don't fight Luis Ortiz, and then Tyson Fury doesn't have a tune-up. In this interview, he says something to the effect of he thought that he would need the extra push and, more time to promote Tyson Fury for his American debut. But the bang-up job that him and ESPN did for the Tyson Fury Tom Schwartz fight, he said it was, it's big enough, and he sees this fight being a very massive fight, and it's a little bit of worry putting them in with other people because you don't want to have a big fight lined up for early next year and one of them loses. Like, for example, if Deontay Wilder, he said, I watched the Wilder fight with Luis Ortiz, and even though he's old, he can still punch. So he's a danger. He said he had Wilder almost out of there. He said Wilder was hurt in the first fight, so it's scary. And he said until, both guys get past their interim fights, he's going to be worried about, like, what if one of these guys lose, because this is the heavyweight division, right? So he said he'd be willing to put Tyson Fury straight in with Wilder, and he said he thought he needed 2 fights, to build Tyson Fury. He also made an excuse about why Tyson Fury got dropped twice. He said Tyson Fury came back from everything he fought after the Klitschko victory, the depression, and he said he lost 145 pounds. So this is the reason why he wasn't at his best and he got knocked down. Now he's saying he thinks Tyson Fury will knock out Wilder in less than 5 rounds. He's also made statements saying that this fight can supersede the numbers generated for Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. He's had a lot of bold claims that he said. You guys check out the interview. Let me know. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the situation. One thing that he did say that was very interesting is he said this would be, according to him, and this is not from the PBC side, so I'm just taking what he's saying in this interview. It sounds like he's under the impression Wilder Fury 2 would be a joint deal, which is what I figured it would be. It would be a pay-per-view, which is, we knew this would be a pay-per-view. Too much money at the table to try to put this on network TV. Plus, you got different networks. He said so it would be a joint. He's obviously with ESPN, so that's satisfied. But as far as Premier Boxing Champions, Wilder has been with Showtime, and Premier Boxing Champs works with Showtime and Fox. And according to Bob Arum, which again, I haven't heard anyone corroborate this from the Showtime, Fox, or Premier Boxing Champions Al Heyman's side, but he's saying this would be a Fox joint pay-per-view with ESPN, which is very interesting if they do that, because it makes sense. Fox has put on some of the big shows like the Keith Thurman Pacquiao. They also put on the Spence Garcia, things like that. So it would make sense. And then he also says that Fox and ESPN have a history, so it's easier than making HBO and Showtime work together as they did for the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight, because he said HBO and Showtime, they didn't really get along and have a history of working with each other, like Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. You know, it took years for that fight to come across too. So he says ESPN has had a relationship where they could coexist basically with ESPN and Fox for the Pac-12 games. So I don't know. That's very interesting though. I don't know if it's true, but I know Showtime has spent a lot of energy promoting Wilder. So it'd be interesting to see if Premier Boxing Champs, if the way to get this deal done is through Fox, because that kind of leaves Showtime out of the equation. But again, I don't know. This is just, I'm going off of what Sir Bob said, you know, OG Bobby Arum, you know. So I don't know if Showtime has a part in this, if it'd be a Showtime ESPN or if it's going to be a Fox ESPN. But I thought that was very interesting. Now, about this fight, I respect Bob Arum, you know, obviously a wealth of knowledge. He's been in the game and the ups and downs he's remained. So I respect Bob Arum, but I think he's just selling wolf tickets. He's talking right here. You know why? Because when you're doing a joint venture like this, it sounds like he even said in this interview, he wanted 2 fights for Tyson Fury. What Wilder wanted to fight Tyson Fury straight the fuck away, you know, straight away from the first one. And Tyson Fury fled and went to the ESPN side. And then they had this plan for him to do tune-ups. Now the reality's setting in, like, okay, we got past Tom Schwartz. His next fight, the public's probably going to demand for him to fight someone better. You know, we don't want either Wilder to get injured or lose, and we don't want Tyson Fury to lose. So now he's talking about fighting it straight away. But anytime you're doing a joint venture, it involves more than just you and more than just your business. So, you know, I know how old media is going to do, but this is new media. You came to new media. Old media is going to say, oh, this is, yeah, you know, it makes sense. Just fight straight away, fight this year. But I think Bob Arum's just talking because it's not that simple. Because first of all, that wasn't the original game plan, and he's telling you that. So yeah, the boxing fan in me is like saying, fuck it, you know, skip past the Luis Ortiz, skip past Fury versus Miller or Big Baby Miller or Kubrat Pulev or whoever they plan on having him fight, and let's go straight into it. But Wilder already announced that he was fighting Luis Ortiz. So that you can't put that type of pressure on the situation and then all of a sudden switch and say, hey, I wanted my fighter to have 2 fights, and then we'll fight at the beginning, January, February, March of 2020, and then now switch it and say, oh man, that ESPN promotion was sick, so let's just jump straight into it. Because again, you're involving more people than just Top Rank, you know, so it don't work like that. You know, you can't Showtime, how can they be expected to whatever was agreed upon go back, you know, because then what happens to Luis Ortiz? He has to, now that somebody has to come up with money to pay him step aside, if he's even willing to take step aside. Showtime, what if they have a venue set? You know, they're talking about the Staples Center. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. So I don't think it's gonna happen this year. You know, you got to do the new media type of research, and it just, what he's saying sounds great on paper, but look, Wilder already announced May 28th, so you can't just wait for Tyson Fury to whoop Tom Schwartz and then you like how he looked, so now you want to change the game plan that 2 separate companies that don't really work together frequently in boxing, you know, what was established. Because once again, the whole reason the 2 tune-up fights even existed was because of ESPN and Top Rank. I have the conference call with Premier Boxing Champions and Deontay Wilder where he said he said, I don't know why people are doubting me. Like, I don't want the rematch. He said, I've seen the rumblings and people talking. He's like, I for sure want the rematch. You know what I mean? So I think Bob Arum's talking. And he, you know, he kind of said that in this interview. He was like, he said, but it's up to the people at Fox, you know, so he knows that shit is probably not going to happen. Like I said, it's too, so you told the world, and this was the agreement, that he needed 2 tune-ups. So then they found someone to keep Wilder occupied and give him a second fight to warm up or whatever, you know, for this big, massive fight. You said you needed time to build up Tyson Fury in America and stuff. And then now you're doing an interview with Helen Yee Sports and you're trying to change it and then throw it on, and get the crowd and old media like, yeah, they should fight this year. But it doesn't work like that. It's not that simple. That's like having a group, girls having a bachelorette party or something. And then everybody's 12 girls and they all agreed to meet at this person's house at 8 p.m. and then take, 2 Ubers to the Las Vegas Strip, and then that was what it was agreed upon. And then one person starts trying to change shit here and there. And now the whole group's, it doesn't work like that, so I don't believe it. I don't believe this is going to happen. If anything, this is kind of a decoy. I think they have this plan to put Wilder in there with Ortiz. Fury's going to have to fight someone. Wilder most likely is going to have the better fight. And it's just going to be that risk. Wilder's going to have to get it done. And Tyson Fury's going to have to get past who he wants. But you can't kind of make those terms and then say you need 2 tune-ups and then like how Tyson Fury looked and now you're not scared because he looked good and knocked out whoever Tom Schwartz was. Now you're trying to switch the game plan. It's just, I don't see that. So I see them riding it out and probably doing the interim fights. But hey, it's not me. It's not my decision. I'm just telling you, it looks like Bob Arum is trying to be slick and kind of put that decoy. So now it looks like Wilder's side doesn't want to fight immediately. It's just like you got to look at the promoters like Eddie Hearn. Wilder was gunning down Joshua. We all watched it. He said, I'm smoking him out. Called Joshua all types of names, got refused from being allowed in to the ring, yada, yada, yada. Then all of a sudden, things came up. Wilder was like, I'm fighting Tyson Fury, whatever. Then they try to make it look like Wilder didn't want no smoke. Eddie Hearn and Team Joshua. Like they've been pursuing him. Now that's what it sounds like Bob Arum is doing. He said he needed 2 tune-ups. He wanted to make sure Tyson Fury, was straight coming off of that 12th round knockout, especially, or knockdown, and make sure, he had all his bearings right. Maybe he liked how Tyson Fury looked and the shape he was in and got a 2nd round stoppage. And now he doesn't want to risk, having interim fights and stuff like that. So now he's getting cold feet on that end and trying to make the appearance to the public look like Top Rank is willing to make the fight next. And despite Fox having plans, Showtime having plans with this Ortiz shit, now they're going to try to make it look like Wilder is the one that don't want to fight immediately. That's what it looks like. Straight the fuck up. And that's bullshit because you have too many people involved. Team Ortiz, probably the Staples Center or Barclays or wherever they're trying to put this. I heard the Staples Center, you can't wait till so basically it's no different than when people, in my opinion, when people, they give you, like Eddie Hearn did to Wilder, give him an offer that they know he's going to decline, like a lowballed offer they know he's going to decline, so the fight doesn't get made. This is in that same vein of promoter talk to me. We made him an offer, but yeah, you offered him peanuts. You knew he wasn't going to take that. That's what it sounds like Bob Arum is doing, but he's just being slick. He has to be cordial to the ops, to PBC, to Al Heyman. So he's trying to put this slick message out there where it looks like Wilder's team ain't the one trying to, like, if Wilder fights Ortiz, they're going to try to make it look like Tyson Fury is only fighting. He wanted to fight straight away and Top Rank wanted to fight straight away, even though they called for 2 tune-ups, not Wilder's side. Now they're going to try to make it look like Wilder's side is the one stalling and they're the ones that didn't want to fight immediately, which is bullshit. And I have the tapes to confirm it. I have Wilder 2 days after the Wilder Fury first fight where he said he wanted to, and I'm going to run the tapes. So we're not doing all that with new media. New media is around. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a Ponzi scheme, so Bob Arum can try to convince the public that if the fight, basically, Wilder is tied up with Luis Ortiz, and he's saying it in the interview, point blank period. He's saying, oh yeah, it's a dangerous fight, but he's already in there. So Showtime, they're looking for numbers. They're looking for big fights because some of the big fights from Premier Boxing Champions are going on Fox. So they want the big fights. They need big fights too. So basically, it sounds like Arum is suggesting something he knows is not going to happen, which is he requested 2 tune-ups, and the agreement is to fight in February or whatever 2020, and that's what it was decided. But now he's trying to backtrack and put this notion out that they want to go into the fight straight away, which is bullshit. Because again, when you're involving 2 networks and groups and it's just different people, damn, that's a crazy shot. You're involving too many different people, so the likelihood and the logistics of that is not going to happen, right? He also talked about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. See, and this is what happens. This is what old media, they try little slick stuff. Bob Arum started talking about, when he started talking about Terrence Crawford, basically the more he started talking, the less I believed this. Because he started saying that it's going to surpass Mayweather, Pacquiao numbers, stuff like that. That I don't even know I don't know. I'd have to see that. Even with, I think it'll do good numbers, but I don't know if it's going to pass that. I think that's promoter talk. But when he started talking about Terrence Crawford fighting Errol Spence, that's why I'm like, okay, he's already said too much. I don't believe that this is going to happen straight away this year, Wilder Fury. And because he started talking about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence and saying he wants that to happen this year, he said, but he said, it just doesn't make sense. Just listen to the interview. He said that Terrence Crawford is definitely fighting probably in October, November, somewhere around there. And he's fighting in Omaha. But then after he said that Crawford's going to fight in his market where he's, the franchise of Omaha, he said that he wanted the Spence fight. He's trying to convince basically PBC that the Spence fight should happen. That's why I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely don't believe what he's saying, because we already heard the rumblings of Errol Spence and Sean Porter, and then it got announced, that it's pretty much finalized just yesterday. So if I know that, and I've known this for a while, and I've reported about it, so you guys, the fans, know, then I know Bob Arum knows as well. And once again, he's trying to make it look like this is a reality. And then when Terrence Crawford ends up fighting Mean Machine or somebody in Omaha in November, October or something, then he's going to make it look like, oh, we wanted to fight Spence, but, he didn't get back to us. But you already know the deal. You already know the drill. Spence versus Porter is on pay-per-view. It's been finalized, etc. So basically playing dumb and trying to act like you're unaware of what's going on, in both of these situations, both Spence and Crawford, but then also this situation. You said you needed 2 tune-ups. That's what the agreement was. Now you're going behind that, the true old media way, and trying to have this spin job to now look like Deontay Wilder. If he fights Luis Ortiz, Tyson Fury was the one pursuing him and doesn't need another tune-up, but Wilder is the one that wants a tune-up. It's not how that works. So I had to make this video promptly, because I can already see the old media. That's how they're going to try to spin it. When you've been in the game this long, you see it before it happens. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. We definitely working in new media. We just having a great year. I am looking forward to Wilder Fury, but we got to see who Fury fights next and who Wilder fights next. Holla at the boy. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.